This is a 6105 8000. It's one that I recently profiled on looking at 4 different 6105 8000s. Though in that video, it was before I went through the watch. So I actually went through this watch this last weekend. So, I don't know. The lume cleaned up better than I thought it was going to, considering how darkened it was. It's still dark around the inside edges of the frames, because that's where most of the water would have, moisture would have sat on this dial and created the most patina. I could put, in many years past, you can go in and try to, deal with that, but you end up doing more damage to the markers than making any real improvement on the lume. But the dial lume is all original. The hand lume on this watch went through at least 3 services. Somebody loved this watch enough to keep it going. They wore the watch enough that the original dial and handset were replaced. This is a service dial, resist, and this is a service handset, and we know that because it's got the short sweep. Then the dial and hands got damaged again. The hands, especially, the owner took it back in, and he had these hands relumed. That's what was on there. It was this blackened green, blobby green lume that old school watchmakers used to use. I stripped that out, and I relumed with my own lume, and I worked to get it to match the color of this. I didn't want it to be bone white because it would look weird. And the metal on the hands is decent. So that's relumed. It's a pretty light glow. It doesn't glow a lot. It only glows some. And this is, by the way, this is my patented ammonite lume, made 100% of repurposed ammonites. No, not 100%. So this watch is cool for a couple different reasons. Oh, I meant to tell you about the dial. So this service dial, this is a correct dial for this model, for a 6105 8000. It has high polish markers. The later regular Willards did not have the high polish. Only this did. The date on the back of the dial is from 1973, November 73. So that means that Seiko was making replacement parts for this thing, for this specific model, almost 4 years, like about 3 years after they were no longer made, which I think is really interesting. This dial, it's for the amount of moisture this dial has dealt with, it's in surprisingly decent condition. You've got some lightening in the markers here. The automatic under this Seiko has just completely steamed away, but the resist text is still there. It's got beautiful, crazy ghosting on the bezel, and that's original. But one of the coolest things is that it has, especially for this late date, July 1968, it has a 7-digit serial on a Dynie-made caseback. I didn't think, if you had asked me before, I would never have imagined for a moment that these, that you could get a 7-digit serial this late. The case is, whoever owned this watch wore the heck out of it. The case has been polished and the top has been rebrushed. It could, if you really wanted to invest in it, get this case, get the case remanufactured. It would look stock again. Me personally, if I didn't already own 2 of these watches, I'd keep this one. But I'm not a hoarder, so I'm going to let this one go. It's fully serviced. Movement is upgraded. Upper and lower mainspring arbor jewels. I replaced a few parts. Crown is rebuilt with new gaskets. This is a new KVW Type 2 crystal. That's the original dial lume, which I've cleaned. I didn't want to push it any further than that. And this is the handset. This is the service handset, which I relumed. Other than that, It's ready to go. The case doesn't have any pitting at all in it. So I think that whoever the owner was, he didn't hang around in salt environments. Maybe he was an avid fisherman. You never know. In any case, this watch is available and just at kleinvintagewatch.com. And that's it. Thank you very much.